be yours. We hope you have a happy holiday.
From the station that's on your side, this is News 12, First at 5.
Recovery and cleanup continues today after 5 states were hit by a cluster of tornadoes. Dozens are dead and missing. The total damage is still unknown. And several devastating fires have resulted in the loss of lives and homes in our area just as we enter peak accidental fire season. But first, the James Brown estate has been sold to Primary Wave Music in a deal that's estimated as $90 million. After 15 years of fighting between heirs and estate administrators, the deal has been reached. This deal in particular compromises of music rights, real estate, and control over Brown's name and likeness. Burt County Sheriff's Office is responding to another school threat, this time in the form of a PowerPoint being sent around the school. This is believed to not be related to the previous school threats from last week. First at 5, during the coldest months of the year, firefighters say they see the most fires and the deadliest ones too. Just in the last week, we saw 3 deadly fires across the CSRA. Another one at the Azalea Park Apartments was not deadly, but 15 people lost their homes. The Red Cross, who helps a lot of these families, say they don't expect those numbers to slow down. The National Fire Prevention Association says this time of year we see the most fires. Augusta Fire says they definitely see an increase in fire-related calls during the winter months. So far this month, they've responded to 15 building fire calls. On average, in December, they respond to 22. The Red Cross says this time of year is busy for them too. Just in the last week, they've assisted 12 families who lost their homes to fires in the CSRA. That's including victims of the fire here at Azalea Park. Red Cross says at least 9 of those families could be returning to an apartment in less than a week, but the unfortunate reality is that this will likely be the last families displaced.
So on an annual basis, the American Red Cross here, located in Augusta, we respond to about 250 home fires every single year. So it's literally 5 a week. But this past week, we responded to 12. So that is definitely an uptick. But we're hoping that is not a trend that we're going to see, continuing.
Augusta Fire says this year fire-related calls are coming at a higher pace, so the expectation is that they will surpass the number of calls from last December. We're working on a story tonight at 6 o'clock about what you can do to keep your home safe. President Biden will travel to Kentucky on Wednesday to view the damage from last week's devastating tornadoes. Just in the last 10 minutes, we're learning the death toll has gone up. Officials now say at least 74 people were killed in Kentucky alone. Laura Podesta reports from hard-hit Mayfield in western Kentucky.
The cleanup is beginning here in Kentucky, and heartbreak has taken hold.
We just came out of the pandemic, and so, just went like, what else? And then, then this.
Hunter Taylor survived the tornadoes by taking shelter in the basement of his Mayfield home.
It was the most terrifying thing I've ever experienced in my whole life.
The family across the street lost a child, and Taylor says he helped recover the body.
That was honestly the worst part of it all, is seeing someone lose their kid.
At least 4 tornadoes hit Kentucky Friday evening. One of them stayed on the ground for more than 200 miles. As the search for survivors continues, the death toll fluctuates, bringing Governor Andy Beshear to tears.
The age range is 5 months to 86 years, and 6 are younger than 18.
This entire neighborhood in Mayfield is a shell of what it once was. Residents have pulled out belongings that could be saved, but there are no homes for them to go back to.
More than 100 people were working at this nearby candle factory when the storm hit.
I close my eyes and all I see is people hollering and screaming for help, so I'm not doing good at all.
The swarm of tornadoes ripped through 5 states. One twister tore into an Amazon warehouse in Illinois, killing 6.
6 individuals clocked in on Friday, and they never came home.
In the massive path of destruction, much of the infrastructure is gone, leaving thousands to survive winter weather without heat or running water. Laura Podesta, CBS News, Mayfield, Kentucky.
Just sad to see there right now. Our thoughts and prayers for sure with those families. Riley, this is just sad to hear, and that video really brings it home.
Really scary stuff, Zane, and you think about that tornado, it most likely was around 3/4 of a mile wide and possibly stayed on the ground for over 200 miles. So it's going to take several days for storm survey crews to really assess all that damage, and definitely thoughts and prayers go out to all those communities impacted by that. We are seeing it up in just about 10 minutes.
We're learning more about a deadly accident that happened just north of Ridge Spring. It happened early this morning around 8:30 near Murphy Farm Road. South Carolina Highway Patrol say that the driver was not wearing a seatbelt and was thrown from the car. They were pronounced dead at the hospital. A North Augusta police officer who was shot in the leg is doing well today and so far will not need surgery. Lieutenant Aaron Fittery was shot last Thursday while going after a suspicious truck. The man in the truck, Thomas Arrington, stopped on Georgia Avenue and opened fire. Thankfully, no one else was severely injured in that shootout. Arrington was arrested on assault and attempted murder charges. A judge has set bond for Alec Murdaugh at $7 million. Murdaugh will also be required to wear a GPS, remain under house arrest, and surrender his passport. The bond covers a total of 48 charges from multiple indictments. The judge did not allow the media to record or stream the bond hearing, so this is video from a previous hearing he had. If convicted on all charges and given maximum sentences, he could face more than 500 years in prison. Attorneys in the upcoming federal hate crimes trial of the men who killed Ahmaud Arbery is expanding their jury pool selection. This could cover most of Georgia, including here at home in the CSRA. Jury selection will start in February in the U.S. District Court. That's going to be just 3 months after father and son Greg and Travis McMichael and their neighbor William Bryan were convicted of murder in state court. North Augusta could see a big rezoning next to the 52 new housing units to the area. Now residents living in the area can provide their input in these early planning stages. Check this out, some pretty good news for a local nonprofit. You're taking a look at Project Refresh's mobile shower trailer. They've been fundraising for a year, and thanks to support from the community and other organizations, they were able to purchase this. Their goal is to help those homeless in our area stay healthy.
Several of us come from healthcare backgrounds where we've gotten to see the impact that a shower has on our patients, and it's exciting to be able to bring that to others in the community.
Pretty cool to see it right there. They plan to start using the shower at the end of January. Until then, they do need volunteers to help. If you're interested, you can visit the website on your screen. That's projectrefreshinc.com. 6 schools in Aiken County are receiving $1,000 to buy books for their libraries. This is thanks to the Central Carolina Community Foundation grant donation. Byrd, Clearwater, Gloverville, Graniteville, Jefferson, and Warrenville elementary schools are all receiving money from this grant. Check this out, parents. Next Wellness Wednesday will be at Evans on Ice. You can register your 5 to 12-year-olds for free skating at 10 in the morning, followed by a healthy snack. To register, head to the Columbia County Parks, Recreation, and Events page on Facebook to get that link. Still ahead, it's been 1 year since the first COVID-19 vaccines went out. We're hearing from one of the first people to get vaccinated next.
We are staying dry this afternoon with high pressure over the region. We'll let you know how you can see a meteor shower tonight just after the break.
'Tis the season for new gadgets.
The most important thing is their data.
But when it's time to toss out or trade in your old electronics, how do you do it safely to protect your information? Our I-team took your questions to the experts. Tonight on News 12 at 6 o'clock.
Hi, I'm Mark.
Follow News 1226 on Twitter to keep informed with the latest happening near you.
A 19-year-old in California was looking forward to starting college, but she was thrust into adulthood prematurely when her mother suddenly died, and she inherited her house. Now a community is rallying around her, helping her spruce up the place. Marley Genter has the story.
Oh, trying to make the house a little bit brighter.
Jeff Osuna has a vision for this house. Fresh paint, new plumbing.
It just takes some time. A little bit of elbow grease.
A lot of work, and this isn't even his house.
Just walking into the house and seeing the situation that this young, 19-year-old girl was living in it was daunting.
That girl is Mackenzie. Mackenzie's mom, Lisa, passed away suddenly after a stroke in April.
Like, she would talk to everybody. Like, that was my mom. And I was like the quiet daughter that she would help bring out of my shell, basically. So, I don't know. I miss her so much.
Mackenzie was her only child, and now a homeowner overnight.
It is, like, very overwhelming to be a homeowner at 19.
That's where Jeff came in. Seeing Mackenzie's home in desperate need of repairs and upgrades, he stepped up, and so did the community.
It brought tears to my eyes when they said that, we're here because this is a good thing, and I thought it was too.
It's an amazing feeling. It's like I like was not expecting the whole community to come together and like help me. Like, I'm just super grateful. I'm like overwhelmingly grateful.
Her mother was a very sweet woman. She'd come out and she'd greet us all the time. She'd pull in our garbage cans when we were gone.
Good deeds now coming full circle, making the old saying, "It takes a village," ring true.
She would just be very happy that her daughter has people taking care of her, like even when she's not here.
And that's absolutely right. Her mom is smiling down on her. Ozuna is a firefighter, and he got several of his colleagues to donate time and supplies. People like that just have amazing hearts. Well, Riley, we're talking about...
Investigate TV is here, digging deep into the topics that matter to you. Watch Investigate TV, Saturday nights at 11:30 on News 12.
Sending your family love and laughter as we head into 2022.
From the station that's on your side, this is News 12 at 6 o'clock.
It is a dangerous season for house fires and roads alike. You can't really avoid the roads or your home, so what does staying safe in these situations look like?
Just last week, 3 people in the river region died in house fires, and the Red Cross says in just the past few days, they've helped 12 families who lost their homes. It's a trend emergency responders see every winter, which means we are definitely still in the peak of fire season.
Our Kennedy Harris live for us right now at Azalea Park Apartments in Augusta, where 7 families lost their homes last week when a fire destroyed one of the buildings there. So, Kennedy, it's been about 5 days. How are things looking out there now?
Yeah, it's been 5 days since the fire tore apart this apartment complex, displacing 15 families. And you can see the damage on the outside, but you can also see the damage on the inside as well. I talked with 2 people displaced by this fire today, and the emotional toll of this damage is still setting in for them. And since this is the peak season, fire authorities say this won't be the last fire. There's a lot of rubble, ashes, and debris, but there's nothing left for the 15 Azalea Park residents to hold on to.
Literally this past week, we have responded to 12 families just in the past week who have lost their homes to home fires.
According to the Augusta Fire Department, as temperatures drop, the risk for home fires heats up. Already this month, Augusta Fire has responded to 15 fire-related calls. Last December, they responded to 20 calls total. So calls are coming at a faster pace than a year ago, and for every serious fire they respond to, so does the Red Cross.
We respond to about 250 home fires every single year, so it's literally 5 a week. But this past week, we responded to 12, so that is definitely an uptick. But we're hoping that is not a trend that we're going to see, continuing.
There have also been 4 home fire-related deaths in the CSRA just in the last 7 days. The main reason we see more fires in the winter months is because people are trying to keep warm.
So you're turning your heaters on maybe for the first time. There's some clothes lying next to it, or books or magazines or something. That catches fire.
Cooking is another top cause, as well as electrical issues. Augusta Fire says to be careful when cooking and make sure you don't overload power outlets. When it comes to space heaters, keep them off of carpet or rugs and don't use them if they're too old.
If you have a working smoke alarm, you have about double the chances of surviving because you get that early detection, that early notice. So if you have a smoke alarm, just take a second and test it.
And right now, Gold Cross caseworkers are in the process of getting 9 of the Azalea Park families placed back into apartments by the end of this week. And right now, there have been no updates on the cause of this fire, but we'll have that information to you as soon as we learn.
Okay, thanks so much for that, Kennedy. Now, if you do not have a working smoke detector, the Red Cross or the fire department can give you one. So in this case, Red Cross or Gold Cross may be able to help you out. Just give them a call.
A major announcement in the entertainment world today, and the impact reaches all the way here to Augusta.
I feel good. I knew that I would not.
And that may be an understatement at this point. James Brown's musical library, his likeness, his estate have all been sold to Primary Wave Music. The multi-million-dollar deal provides the money to finally pay for one of the dreams of the Godfather's soul that he outlined in his will, to provide a trust for scholarships for needy children. The agreement also paves the way for the James Brown estate here at Beach Island to open as a museum one day, something the family has been talking about for decades. It is widely reported the deal with Primary Wave Music is worth $90 million.
Taking a look outside over the medical district.
In just about 2 minutes.
All right, thanks for that, Riley. This year is on track to be the deadliest year on roadways in South Carolina. Nearly 1,050 people have died in the Palmetto State. That's up 9% from this time of the year in 2019. And we're looking at 2019 and not 2020 because we know many people weren't on the roads at all much last year during the pandemic. But Georgia has been a deadly year, too. More than 1,600 people have died. That is up 4% from this time last year, up 9% from all of 2019. Our Solano Cone live for us at Mike Paget Highway with how these state trends are applying here at home. So Sloan, you tell us there is one main culprit, one common denominator for these crashes.
Well, GDOT's data points out saying that speeding is the biggest killer. Most accidents are caused by tailgating or not yielding or stopping correctly. But for every 10 miles per hour increase, your likelihood of that accident being fatal is doubled. So, for example, if you're going 60 miles per hour, if you go up to 80 miles per hour, the likelihood of that crash being fatal is 4 times higher.
Every day, I'm basically almost getting hit, and my family's almost getting hit because nobody wants to slow down, especially semis, too.
Since 2019, there have been 341 accidents with injuries and 7 fatal accidents along Mike Paget. Compared to Washington Road, they had 176 accidents with injuries and no fatal accidents. Peach Orchard Road had 769 injuries and 4 fatal accidents. GDOT says they've done projects to widen, repave, and reconstruct Highway 56 to make sure it's as safe as possible. But what they cannot control is how we drive.
It terrifies me because I have 2 nieces and a nephew, and if they're in the car with me and that ever happens with me, it's ridiculous from how many people are dying on this highway because nobody else is caring.
Do you ever see policemen?
No. In the 6 years of living on this highway, I've never seen a cop pull somebody over on this highway for speeding. It's always been for accidents. That's when they come.
Ultimately, Kirsten just wants to save more lives.
You don't have to rush to get to where you're going. You can go the speed limit and get there probably the same time. Don't risk another person's life because you want to be somewhere immediately.
And I reached out to Richmond County Sheriff's Office to ask them how often they patrol the highway and if they plan to increase their patrols at all, especially during the holiday season. They did not get back to me, but I will let you know when they do.
Sloan, thanks for the update there. Senators Warnock and Ossoff recently secured more than $300 million. Senators Warnock and Ossoff recently secured more than $300 million to address issues in rural health. Georgia has had a hard time keeping the doors of rural hospitals open, so AU is partnering with those hospitals to get tech savvy and keep the lights on. Telemedicine has been taking off, especially during the pandemic. We pulled up a link here at augustahealth.org just to show you the AU Health website. It's as easily as just clicking a button right here to start your virtual visit. Here's Celeste Springer with a closer look at how this works.
The future of medicine is here. Well, actually, it's kind of been here all along, just a video camera and a computer screen.
It's a simple, just push this button, type your name in, and say, who you are. It's just like with Zoom.
The technology isn't new, but the number of patients like Naomi Cranfield who are seeking out telehealth services is.
You are entering the meeting now.
It started back in 2020 when COVID actually came into effect.
But patients are sticking around for the convenience or other personal factors. Cranfield lives in Augusta and she logs onto appointments from home. But big carts like this in rural hospitals are helping people far away with no internet.
They then can have access to those specialists that wouldn't be able to come to their rural communities.
Specialists from AU here in Augusta see patients near and far.
With this, you can call different places. So we call, I can call rural hospitals, I can call places in our hospital. This is one thing that equalizes healthcare across our state.
Georgia has historically had issues keeping rural hospitals open, and getting patients in the door to see specialists virtually is actually fueling the rural healthcare system.
We're able to give them the highest quality of care that keeps their hospital open because we're keeping more people in their rural hospitals. That means that they can bill for those services. That makes them more viable. That keeps them open.
So keeping these on helps keep the lights on too. Celeste Springer, on your side.
It's also good business. Dr. Lyon tells us they've kept 80% of their patients they've seen through their telemedicine program. That's well over 1,000 patients in the last year.
What is good?
And it's the type of thing you take for granted until you go without, bringing showers straight to the people who need them. Just ahead here on News 12 at 6 o'clock.
Serious wreck.
From dry and dull to firm and radiant. With Olay Body, I feel fearless in my skin.
Holiday traffic can be a nightmare. If holiday cheer turns to tragedy due to an accident, get the strong arm. This holiday season, protect your rights and get the lawyer who fights. I'll fight so you don't have to.
We have an update on a story we told you about back in the spring. A local nonprofit raising enough money to buy a mobile shower trailer.
Project Refresh's goal is to help those homeless in our area stay healthy. Arzina Halliburton gives us a look inside.
We call it a basic human need. You don't realize how much you need a shower until you go without one.
Project Refresh started raising money for a mobile shower trailer a year ago. Since then, support from the community and other organizations have poured in.
This is the whole bathroom, something that you would be excited to go into if you were out camping or something like that. So it's nice to be able to have it here.
She says there's a great need for this mobile shower just in the CSRA alone.
We've had so many people say we're in need of those services that we don't even have the capacity yet to serve just the people here.
People will be able to not only take a shower, but get fresh clothes, toiletries, and be connected with other organizations here to serve those in need. Buer says although they now have the mobile shower, they're still fundraising.
And we're still in need of a truck to pull our trailer as well. So in order for us to park at those various locations to serve a wider range of people, we're still fundraising for things like that and our basic everyday kind of needs for our events as well.
For Project Refresh, they want to provide hope one shower at a time.
Several of us come from healthcare backgrounds where we've gotten to see that the impact that a shower has on our patients, and it's exciting to be able to bring that to others in the community.
Reporting in Augusta, Zana Halliburton on your side.
And they plan to start using the mobile facility at the end of January.
Until then, they do need volunteers to help with their mission, so we'll have a link on our website you can check out if you're interested in helping.
Much more news ahead, but let's have a live look.
Thursday, and as those temperatures warm, more clouds do show up, but no rain in the forecast till we get to the weekend.
Clearing the clutter this holiday season, we'll tell you how to protect your personal information while ditching that drawer of old electronics.
The library about what he'll say.
It's easy to say when he's not your father.
Thank you, Dr. Griffiths.
You're welcome.
I think he was talking to me.
And yet I was the one speaking.
Sophia Bush is Good Sam. Premieres Wednesday, January 5th on CBS.
'Tis the season for new electronics, but when it's time to toss out or trade in your old technology, how do you do it safely to protect your information? Our I-team took your questions to the experts.
Hoping Santa brings you something smarter than an Etch-a-Sketch this year?
A computer, maybe.
A laptop, probably.
I'd ask for a new laptop.
I have an iPad, but I want to give it away to somebody.
Well, before you toss, sell, or trade that old tech for your upgrade, cybersecurity experts have a word of advice.
First thing that they need to do when they want to buy a new one or trade their devices is to get rid of their data correctly and properly.
And properly does not mean just resetting your device to factory settings.
When you do factory reset or whatever type of deleting, with the easiest way that people use, the actual data is not being removed.
Which makes places like eBay and Facebook Marketplace a gold mine for hackers to buy your old stuff and mine it for its data. So what are you supposed to do?
Based on the DoD recommendation, the best way is to override the data at least 7 times and then destroy it physically.
And that goes for tablets, smartphones, laptops, even smart TVs. To overwrite the data, you run a file eraser program on your device or its hard drive. You can Google the different options, but permanent eraser is a good one for Macs. Eraser is good for Windows. Type in 7 when it asks you how many times you want to overwrite your files. And be patient. It will take several hours.
Best way is to remove the hardware and plug it into another computer and use that new computer to erase whatever information completely on the hardware.
But even that doesn't make your device or your data hacker-proof.
Hard drive, okay? which is here located here.
If you really have sensitive data, bank information, HIPAA files, whatever's worth taking an extra step to protect, you need power tools.
After you erase it, it's good to either hammer it or drill it. The best that they say is 4 points.
And the experts say it may be tempting, but don't cut corners and skip ahead to this part.
This is good, but make sure to erase it before this, because still if the attacker is really motivated and puts enough money in it, it can extract something.
You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch.
Making sure that mean old Grinch doesn't steal Christmas or your identity this season.
You're as cuddly as a cactus.
So if you're trying to resell or trade in a device, know there is always a risk of a really good hacker following the breadcrumbs hidden in your hard drive. But if that's a risk you are willing to take after overwriting your data 7 times, also run that factory reset before you trade it in or sell it online.
Backup on top of backup. Laura, thanks. An Augusta commissioner met with the new owner